Okay, you ready to go?
Not yet. Yes.
Okay, let me pull up the tab. All right. Wait, what did we decide we're calling this?
Greetings and welcome to Luck of Effort, where we strive to teach that it's not about what can happen to you, but what you make happen for yourself. Today, you can expect to find our normal acts of debauchery, expectations on where we think the economy is headed, where we think the stock market is headed, and ideas on how to take your business to the next level. And here we go.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Luck of Effort. This time it is just Kyle and I. We are coming at you with a special segment that we're starting. This is going to be kind of something unique that we do on our channel, where we are going to do special segments each month and really hone in on some topics, a specialty, maybe some more niche conversations. And maybe stuff that we had to cut for time. So, Kyle, thanks for joining me, bud.
Yep, absolutely.
Say hi to the audience. You know what day is today?
Today's Monday. Sometimes
Monday.
that's a difficult question.
Yeah, Monday, December 5th, which 22 long years ago, I was born in a snowstorm in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, that's right. I forgot it was your birthday. Oh, there you go. I
Yeah.
even put it on my calendar and I still forgot.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Oh, that's sweet, Kyle. What did you get me for my birthday?
My presence right now on this
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Great. Awesome. I'm excited. Right after we wrap this up, I'm going to get a big old chicken fried steak from one of our neighborhood restaurants. I'm just, can't wait to get off the phone with you already.
There you go. Perfect.
Right.
Well, I've got a meeting at 5:30, so
well, there you go.
We've got the same
prerogative.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a better word than that, but yes, we have the same drive, whatever. So
yeah,
sounds good.
So, guys, the topic of this conversation specifically, we did not want to hold up the main podcast for this. And sorry, hope you guys didn't miss me too much last week, but no worries. Is the holiday report came out by Adobe. Kyle and I really enjoy talking about the holiday report. I don't know if anybody is stuck around from last year. If you did, thanks for continuing to watch us. And if you didn't, welcome back. But Kyle and I could really get rattling about Black Friday performance. And, he and I both look at this generally as a good performance benchmark for the health of the U.S. economy as a whole. Kyle, do you want me to talk about the importance of Black Friday, why we like it, what it means for the U.S. consumer, what it means for people's businesses? Or
yeah, go ahead. That's fine. I'll just if I have something to throw in there, I'll cut you off.
I'm in. Yeah. All right. So Kyle and I really like Black Friday because yes, there are rates like inflation, like deal amounts, discretionary income spend. But Black Friday is definitely one of those days where we can sit down, we can powwow, not only as people who are fanatics of the United States economy, but as well as people who are entrepreneurs, because this really is a good way to gauge on a personal level how Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and Cyber Monday is a very good way to get a feel of how your customer confidence is, not only rounding out this year, but beginning next year, as well as why it is, where the economy is generally heading. Do you have anything to chime in there?
No, I mean, I think that's a pretty good synopsis of those three.
Yeah. So The Adobe report came out, and obviously we are not at the end of this year. So keep in mind, entrepreneurs, this is not including last minute Christmas deals like stocking stuffers and stuff like that, nor New Year's or anything like that. However, some very interesting stuff to go off of here from a consumer standpoint. So let's talk about the year so far that we've had, including some of the highlights. This Black Friday, we, as a collective United States economy, brought in about $9.13 billion on Black Friday alone, which in and of itself is a record that got broken. And Cyber Monday got somewhere in the ballpark of $11.3 billion. So both are record holders. The deficit between Cyber Monday and Black Friday is at an all-time high. And there's some other interesting trends going on this year. So briefly put, the top performing holidays this year, on top was Cyber Monday, behind that Black Friday. Shockingly, Thanksgiving was placed third, as well as Thanksgiving Eve was fourth. Kyle, I've got opinions about that, but to me, that's incredibly interesting. And then even more interesting is fifth, you would expect would be like Valentine's Day or even 4th of July. It's actually Veterans Day.
Yeah, that's the one that's most interesting to me.
Right. Veterans Day knocked out Valentine's Day for most retail revenue, which is just shocking. You know?
I wonder why that is. I don't know. That could just be me being disconnected from the
right.
world, I suppose. But what do people buy on Veterans Day other than, your basics, a
I
couple
guess
flags, or I mean, I don't know. Maybe more people do dinners and stuff than I thought. Maybe there's more. Maybe this is just post COVID. We haven't done it for 2 years, and so every, homeowners association and networking group and whatever had a Veterans Day dinner, right? Maybe that's the situation. We'll have to see if it
could
drops
be.
off for next year or what. So
Could be, but just obviously a very shocking amount. And I would honestly, all of that stuff kind of goes into the whole confectionery, section there. But still, even when you classify it like that, it's just so weird that it did better than Valentine's Day.
yeah, well, I mean, or like you said, 4th of July or something, right? I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like 4th of July is a more widely spread holiday where people would buy things for it, right? Than
Right.
Veterans
And
Day.
you know what it could have been is people offloading sales and focusing more on Veterans Day more than Memorial Day. So
Possibly.
yeah, so how like your HVAC companies, your refrigeration company, whatever, everybody, furniture stores, they have Memorial Day sales and stuff.
Yes.
I think a lot of that was shifted to Veterans Day even this year, so I think it's interesting. Um, okay, Small Business Saturday had a pretty good turnout as well, grossing in $4.6 billion. However, Sunday actually had more revenue than Small Business Saturday.
What was the date of Small Business Saturday for
The
this revenue by
26th.
day chart? The 26th,
Yep,
did you say?
26th. That Sunday was the 27th
Of November?
November. Yep.
Okay, so it's actually right at the end. We do have it. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So we
And
have
you
the
can
27th right here.
right,
Okay.
and you can see it by the spikes right here. The first spike is Black Friday. You've got the two lulls in between, and then the Cyber Monday obviously is the big one.
Yeah.
So yeah, very interesting. And I've noticed, and I think that that's actually kind of a huge symptom of corporate overlay on top of small business efforts, which personally makes me a little sad. However, business is business. Small Business Saturday is a huge day for small business retailers, because it does kind of give small entrepreneurs a chance to have that spotlight. Obviously now though, I'm actually seeing a lot of democratization, I would say, quote unquote, within the Black Friday space. And I think it's really cool that we're seeing smaller and smaller businesses get involved. And I've noticed that regardless, it still is a pretty high traffic day for them. Kyle, what have you been seeing around any of your portfolio companies?
No, I mean, well, our revenue doesn't really change around things like this because we sell mostly B2B. So
Right.
nobody cares about these about Black Friday and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, our customers don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I guess that's the short answer. But building off of that, when you talk about the small businesses, I think it's a little bit difficult to measure that specific metric since a lot of these
Right.
small businesses are getting masked by companies like Amazon or eBay, um, or any of those other platforms that they can sell through,
Right.
even wholesale um, type orders, right? Maybe their products are getting white labeled or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I know like a lot of the little shops and stuff in the town that I live in. I mean, they all sell online and kind of out the back door, as they say, right?
Right.
Um, and sometimes that's the majority of their business, quite frankly. They, having the store in the front is more just for fun, or
Right.
maybe that's the way they started, or whatever, right? Um,
Totally off topic, but related to what you were saying is I do believe that we're going to have a renaissance of like showrooms. We used to have a lot of showrooms, like even Sears used to be one, Montgomery Ward and stuff,
yeah, I think
for catalogs. But now I think we're going to have them for websites and stuff like that,
yeah,
Amazon showrooms.
I think you're probably right. The question is who's going to pay for it, because yeah, there's always, especially on bigger ticket items, like a couch, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe even a TV, things like
Right.
that. People want to see that type of stuff, right? And I know, or
Exactly.
dishware, that would be a perfect example. If you're gonna buy a silverware set or something like
Right.
that, for your kitchen.
Yeah.
But like I know people now who go to Kohl's or something, right? Or Williams Sonoma, and
Right.
they'll look, and then they go home and they buy it online. Right?
Right.
Which if you're buying it from the same company, then it's whatever, because something like Williams Sonoma, for example, they're whether you're buying it on Amazon or their website or whatever, all the money's going to the same place.
Right.
And so you're still supporting that store and keeping it open, etc. But for example, you know, something that's not so brand specific, you could go and look at something in store, like an air fryer, for example.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own version of air fryer, right? So
Yeah.
if you go and you look at a KitchenAid air fryer that might be in Kohl's, and then you go online and you find out that the Ninja one is better, maybe you'll buy it from them, right?
Right.
And so now
Right.
you're not even supporting the retailer, uh, that you went to look at these things and see them in person,
Absolutely.
etc. And so I think that's where some of the problem comes in, right? Is it's always nice to go and see things, but then how is the consumer eventually going to pay for it? Because you will
Right.
one way or another. So
Exactly. And you know what? This would actually be a pretty good involved discussion with the whole team, but I really do think that that's the direction we're heading. I'm going to steer us back towards the Black Friday report, but maybe we should earmark that for us as a team to talk about.
sure.
All right. So going on to the next thing. One of the things that a lot of people were concerned about, especially with the enhanced CPI rates, and Kyle, if you want to give us a brief walkthrough of the CPI this year and basically what the hell the economy did for us as a consumer. um,
Sure.
One of the things that a lot of people were concerned about was, okay, how valuable is the actual discount going to be? And some interesting stuff. So, Kyle, do you want to give us a brief rundown on what the hell happened with CPI rates and stuff like that?
Yeah, I can do the short version. And we have even through Luck of Effort on YouTube, we do the CNM, kind of weekly market updates. So you can get more in-depth information on all of that type of stuff if you feel like it. But long story short, it has been going up. many months in a row until recently when it didn't go down, I suppose, but it did not go up as much as they had expected it to. I believe right now CPI is at 7.9% or 7.7%. I don't remember exactly, but either way,
High
right at
sevens.
high sevens. Yep.
Mhm.
So the current theory that we have, which we did talk about on the last episode, I believe, was kind of a double bounce on CPI. So it was going up and up and up for the longest time. Then, like I said, it did not go up as much as they expected, and everybody got excited about that. And the Fed chair has come out and said, that they're expecting to be able to do lesser and lesser rate hikes in the coming months, and some things like that. So there's been a lot of hype in the markets about that recently. However, it's my belief and my team's belief that will continue to go up. So I think it's a short-lived kind of relief that we're all having here. So, but long story short, what it means for the consumer is things are getting more expensive. So everything in the supply chain is becoming more expensive, from the gasoline to the labor, and everything in between, right? The plastics, etc. So obviously the end result of that is that the products that we all buy and the services that we all need are getting more expensive.
Right.
And wages are not increasing at the same rate as the inflationary rate. So
Right.
when you have that situation, your cost of living gets more expensive, and it's a higher percentage of people's paycheck and things like that, which is obviously especially bad for people who are maybe spending 100% of what they earn, on living expenses already. So it's hard to
Absolutely.
spend. It's hard to spend 110% of what you make, right? Or even
Exactly.
101% of what you make. So
Exactly.
that's
And
that's kind of in a nutshell, without getting into consumer credit or anything like
right.
that. That's kind of what's going on.
So I don't have any data on me on hand with consumer credit, but what I will say is that
It's
you brought
increasing.
yeah, you brought up a good point too with we actually saw even still a 2.5% increase in overall spend on discretionary income within the retail world this year alone, Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
On discretionary income or discretionary
Spend
spending?
spending. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So COVID 2020 marked the biggest jump I think we've had in many decades. 2020, the Black Friday count was in the holiday season total spend totaled about 188 billion dollars. And Kyle, that's on the report. Um, it was at 188 billion dollars in 2020, which marked a 32% percent increase actually. So people were spending a ton more in things that are not basic cost of living and basically what we would file in this discretionary category. The fact that even this year our CPI rate was extraordinarily high. We're dealing with this potential double bounce, and it still went up 2% is definitely interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this chart now, which is obviously on the screen. The revenue, you're seeing consistent growth. That's obvious by those green, boxes, right?
Correct.
And the growth, which is, year over year, I would assume, between 2020 and 2022,
Correct.
is decreasing and, considerably.
Yeah.
I think it's slightly expected. I think, that 2020 to 2021 kind of decrease, there weren't a lot of people who were doing family Christmases and some of that type of thing.
Right.
And so I think that explains a little bit of the decrease. And you have COVID in there and just general uncertainty and some things like that, right?
Right.
The thing that is a little bit more interesting or puzzling maybe is the decrease between 21 and 22, which I would also consider to be decent, right? I mean, that's probably about 50%, maybe a little bit more. So 2.5% growth, so 8.6% growth in 21, 2.5% growth in 22. So,
Right.
the question obviously would be why. Why are people not spending as much?
Yeah.
And things like that. But which is not necessarily true because the revenue has still gone up. So
Exactly.
now you have to talk about that inflationary rate, right? People
Mhm.
obviously did not spend as much money, but yet the revenue was slightly higher than it was in 2021. So it's
Right.
usually just the average cost of the goods that were sold has gone up.
The discounts, however, passed down are better than last year. So if you go to the chart just above that, or wait, hold on. Yeah. Yep, right there. So discounts, these are some of the top performers. Um, so one, you can see the actual attribution to the shockingly good performance on Small Business Saturday and Sunday. The 26th and the 27th, which was that Saturday and Sunday, actually had higher discount rates on average than the Black Friday or Cyber Monday, which is definitely interesting. However, top performers, so toys, electronics, then apparel for the top discounts. Not surprising at all. That follows a pretty regular curve. Plus, that fits in line pretty good with margins.
Yeah, I was just
On
going to say they're all pretty high margin items. Yeah.
Exactly. But still shocked. So it's higher than definitely years previous to COVID. However, the fact that we are seeing a good improvement from, that was a big concern that we talked about last year, around that time last year with our Black Friday predictions, is the value of the deal was going to be chalked up as part of a COVID recovery on behalf of these companies, on behalf of a general lower turnout. So raising the prices to try and keep sales up. That's or sorry, not sales, but order volume and cart value up.
So would you say that the average deal value was up this year or down?
It's higher, but not by much,
Okay.
honestly. Um, so that at least is trending in the right direction. However, I would say next year for next Black Friday, if we continue down the path that we are, I think companies are gonna basically entirely slash the value of the deals that you're actually getting in store and online for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Especially if we keep up this rising time of inflation, there's not a whole lot of areas where these deals can come out of.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, as the margins get compressed, uh,
Exactly.
obviously that leaves less space for discounts, right? Or at least less space without losing money or being above
Exactly.
break even.
Exactly. So additional discounts, if you scroll down to the one down there, this is why I'm saying, it was a little bit better, but it's still disappointing. There is not that great of of additional discounts for these companies. It's kind of sad actually. Really, the biggest areas that people saved in was mainly to do with electronics, as well as appliances, which would make sense. That's no different. However, you're starting to see this trend where you don't even have like toys and stuff like that showing up on these top performing discount lists, which is odd for Black Friday, right? You're rewarding the consumer for being early. And what we're doing right now is we're not really seeing that. So is it a trend away from toys? Is it an economic driver, or is it all of the above? I would say it's the latter. It's all of the above. Any you want to chime in on that at all?
No, I mean, to be honest, I don't know enough about it, quite frankly.
Yeah,
So,
and
I mean, obviously, toys and stuff isn't going to be on this graph regardless, since these are additional to the one above. But, um,
well, they break it down a little bit. So it's providing some additional insight on some of these specific products. Like obviously you have computers, televisions, and appliances on that bottom graph. Up top you have electronics. You're
Yeah,
breaking down some of these categories in more
sure.
detail. The thing that's just odd is that we're not really seeing toys as being a top performer this time around, when it comes to actual deal value that the customers get. um Last thing I want to talk about, and if you scroll down just a little bit more, um keep going, keep going, keep going. Yep, right there. If you take a look at hot products, you will notice a very odd trend, being that Cyber Monday was more popular with toys and physical products, and Black Friday was more saturated with electronics, which is a complete reversion. Usually Cyber Monday, you see larger deals and stuff like that for electronics, so you get more of a focus with that. However, advertising strategy this time around, this year, was putting just as heavy of an emphasis on electronics during Black Friday than as Cyber Monday. Makes sense in the course of business. However, it is a weird reversion that we're seeing electronics beating out electronics like Xbox, Modern Warfare 2, MacBooks. Were all big winners on Black Friday. It's amazing to see those pop up on the top performers over toys, decorations, household items, stuff like that. Very interesting.
Do you know what Bluey is?
I don't. Let's take a look.
I have no idea as to what that is, if I'm being
It
honest.
could be.
I mean, obviously it's a toy or a game of some sort, but I just haven't heard of it.
It's actually a TV show. I
Really?
don't know. Yeah. Produced and show run by Disney.
So maybe
And I
hmm.
it's preschool age gaps, so it could potentially be products surrounding it as well as the show.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
And
The other thing that I thought was interesting, and we even had this argument at Jailbirds a while ago, right? Between desktop and mobile and sales and all that type of stuff. But it's interesting that 55.5% of the sales were on desktops or other, right? Versus 44.5 to mobile.
not to me, that doesn't surprise me, because now when you're offering these digital deals on Black Friday, you're setting up the expectation for consumers that, hey, this is going to be available, and the primary way we want you to buy this is online, versus even in store. People don't like fighting to the death in Walmart, and whenever this expectation comes around, people are going to be on their laptops, because it's not like you're scrolling on Instagram, something on your phone, and you see an ad for a flash sale. That's not necessarily how it works. The expectation is that you're already online on your computer device and ready to start purchasing. So I think that's a trend that is not really surprising to me. However, that could change in the next year. We're seeing some of these key industry insights telling us that every year that we have Black Friday is going to be dramatically different than the last. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that, our next Black Friday conversation is going to be even more interesting and involved. Um, and yeah. The final trend that I will say and bring up as interesting, and something that I feel that I should point out, because you don't have to be selling tangible products anymore. I don't have any statistics behind me. This is purely anecdotal, but I've seen a lot of SaaS business participation in Black Friday this year.
Oh, I would
So
agree.
yeah,
Yeah. A good example of that for us was TradingView. We re-updated
yeah.
our TradingView subscription because it was like 60% off on Cyber Monday.
Even Zoom is offering like 60% off as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Software as a service companies are getting in on this, and it's something that you need to pay attention to if you don't have a tangible product that you're selling, but you're focusing on your software that you're building. Huge deal. Huge deal to get in on not only Black Friday, but yes, Cyber Monday as well. And it's not on behalf of the people that you're serving, it is for your company as a whole. Now, one thing that I'm going to be doing a decent amount of research next year is how do we offer these deals uh, to businesses that might be like revenue commissions, companies who take a part of each transaction. Don't know, but I want to figure out a way that we can get these people involved with. Okay. So I think that this is a very interesting year in review. Kyle, do you have any last thoughts you want to impress upon our audience?
Not particularly, to be honest. I think maybe it'd be cool to do an update after Christmas and all that stuff gets kind of finished up. This is really only like halfway through the holiday spending season, right? From a
Right.
revenue perspective, at least.
We
I
should
think,
have a year in review
yeah,
episode.
we definitely
Yeah.
can. So
Yeah.
once everybody tells me what date they're available, we'll get that
But
scheduled and set up.
wrapped this whole conversation, put into one sweet thing, nice shiny bow. I could definitely argue that consumers are keeping their confidence regardless of what narrative is being told to them. Now, obviously, the percentage increase was lower, but we still did see an increase in Black Friday, Cyber Monday revenues. So I'd be willing to argue with you. People are going to be having Christmas in person, and consumer confidence is timid, but still there.
I would agree. It'll be
All
good.
right.
Good to be back in person.
Yeah, it is good to be back in person. Guys, thank you for tuning in to a special edition Luck of Effort episode. We hope you enjoyed hearing from Kyle and myself. And guys, we will see you for the next Luck of Effort episode coming out whenever we decided. Coming out shortly that first Saturday of January. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and we can't wait to see you for the next one. Thanks, guys.